We're on the very bottom line on page Chof. A quite subtle aspect over here. So we are saying that the kelim, although the kelim are from the tzimtzum itself, from the reshimu, there is now it's helem, not oir. There is what's called chayut of the kelim themselves. What initiates the fact that there are kelim? This chayut in the kelim is a helem type chayut. It's not an active chayut that relates them to their source. Nonetheless, there is a chayus in the kelim. There's that which initiates the kelim. And as we said, the names of Keil Elikim, the names that we refer to Hashem due to the kelim, are names of referring to the chayus that's in the kelim. What it is that initiates the presence of the kelim themselves. In our extremely simple analogy and demonstration of the principle, what gets a person out of bed? When one looks at this from a naturalistic perspective, one says, look, I slept enough, I'm rested. And therefore, I myself wake myself up and I get myself up. However, this is not the real truth. This is why we make a bracha in the morning. Moidan lefanecha, shechazarte bin yishmosei. And then we say the bracha, mo'ir risheni, one wakes up the sleeping. And Zoyt of Kufi, one who straightens out the bent over. We get up from bed, we stand up on our feet. There is a spirit beyond our sechel that gets us up. Matir Hasurim, one who releases the tied up. Make all these brachas. Because those brachas are describing the true effect of the godly presence in our lives. This is not something which comes naturally from ourselves. Let's take this analysis and translate it in terms of oil and keil. We woke up, we had a nice sleep. We woke up, and now our thought process is in full gear. Not only are we thinking, but we know what we are thinking. You have to get up. It's daytime. It's morning. It's time to get up. Time to get up is a so to speak, a sechel concept, and your sechel is already functioning. And yet, there's something missing. This is not going to get you up. There's a different dimension of reality that does get a person up. This getting up, let's understand the following. In the terms that we're learning. Waking up and being conscious and thinking, this is the oir of wakefulness. What is the keli for wakefulness? Getting up. Activating. Bringing this sechel to activity. As long as you're in bed, you're thinking, but you're not up in the functional level, in the practical level. You're not really up. When is this seichel, the union that you're awake, come to full expression? Like you said, chesed mamash, when you get up. And get dressed. This is the keli that bears the phenomenon of waking up. The initiator of this keli is some kind of mysterious union. It's not in the seichel itself.
The initiator of this keli, the cause of the actual getting up is not the seichel.
Right.
Actually coming to Paltiel, you're saying?
Huh?
The keli coming to Paltiel.
Yeah. It's the initiator of that keli is not in the seichel. We said before, no matter how much you understand the necessity and the significance of the good phenomenon, the good result of getting up, that's not going to get you up.
Isn't midas going to get you up though?
What?
Midas won't get you up?
Midas, what kind of midas? How? Midas is not essential. Anything on the oil level, on a functioning level, is not going to get you. Getting up is a complete change of venue. You step out from one world into a different world, from one reality into a different reality. And what is it? Let's carry this to its full, complete closure. What is it that actually initiates the keli, the getting up? This is what's called over here the reshimu. What is the reshimu? Reshimu means the reshimu, the remaining trace of a different reality. Like we said, that this man who is lying in the gutter, functionally he's totally inept. He denies his manhood, he denies his humanhood. Nonetheless, it is there. It is there in a traceable manner. Because that is what he was. That is what he is created to be. No matter how deeply asleep he is, how deeply dysfunctional he is, that a trace of that still remains. And it is from this trace that you can draw ultimately the entire human being. Starting off with a kelim, with a simple kelim, get up. The next kelim, wash up, get dressed. This is all quote unquote this sophistication in kelim itself. All right.
Is sechel completely besides the point, or does it prepare the way that this reshimu shows itself, or what's the relationship there?
The sechel is not besides the point. Sechel is not an initiator, but it is the functioning element.
Wait, it is the functioning? I thought we just said the practical functioning element is when he actually...
That's the initiator of function. That's the actual activator.
Is from the reshimu, not
from the reshimu.
Not from sechel.
Not from sechel. But what is the action going to be?
That's to say, sechel guides the action but cannot initiate it.
That's right. The person gets up. What happens? He runs through the streets. The sechel defines what it means to get up in terms of a function. Okay. So the reshimu, I'm reiterating this because of its great significance. The reshimu represents an inerasable element, which is the very essence. I said before, I said, this man in the gutter, yes, he can lose his sechel and midas, but he cannot lose the fact that he's a human being. Okay. The oil that creates the kelim themselves, this is the oil that is representative, as in this is the reshimu, representative of the essence, comes in a halem fashion. In our moshel, this man is lying in the gutter, and we say, oh, but he's a man, he's a human being. In what way does that express itself? It does not express itself. It is there, contained in his being. But it does not express itself. And he says further, it's not b'chinas gilu. I'm going to start again from 2 lines on the bottom. Haina b'chinas kira with dvekis ben kira. It's not b'chinas gilu, which would mean kira with dvekis ben kira, close to their source. Kim b'chinas hela. But this comes in a hela manner. In other words, coming back to our analysis here, you stand up and there is some kind of reality. But this does not say that this does not speak in terms of being a human being. You're getting up because you're a human being. There's not a human element in this necessarily expressing the fact that you're getting up. There is some kind of an essence. Like we said the other day, that the final action of chesed, for example, doing kindness, the act itself is such an act that can be replicated by a dummy, by a what do you call it?
Robot.
A robot. A robot can do the same action. The robot cannot conceptualize the idea, the action, but it can do the action. At the point of chesed mamash, at the point of action, there is not a trace. That there is not a direct connect to where to the idea behind it. It's a plain action. But the highest in this is there, but it's behelp. This chayus of kindness that translates in an act of kindness. And we say the act itself can be replicated by a robot. It's conceived in the sechel, in the compassion and so forth. Where is that reality come from? In other words, yes, I feel compassion. Is compassion a justifiable feeling, a meaningful feeling, or is just I feel it? Is there a fundamental truth behind it, or is it just a fleeting feeling? So we're saying, no, it is rooted. Yes, indeed, it is at this moment. It is sechel and mizad, but this sechel is rooted in the atzmu. At that point, all you have is only the reshimu of the atzmu, but it's rooted in the atzmu. And this is how the kelim are formed. In other words, the act of kindness, this can be acted on robotically. But does the human being relate to this act? As an act, does it relate to it, or is it something which is completely meaningless to him, just like to the robot? He relates to it. Because it is rooted in essence. The fact that it comes out in terms of midas and sechel, in terms of compassion, that's already chitzonius relative to the reality of the human being. This is in his koiches. But the final act is something that he can relate to.
This final act is rooted in etzem. Why does it land up becoming so devoid of light?
Because etzem is not light.
Okay, but
Etzem is superior to light.
right. But all light is an emanation from etzem, and is a siman of etzem.
Of the simon of the inyan of the etzem, not etzem per se. It's a ha'ora. The kelim thus are the b'chinas helem mitzad atzmu. In essence, they are helem. Ukemaimer, and this is what we said, this is the rabbinic possibility. Ukemaimer, and as it says, kad'an tistalig, that when you, tistalig, would be removed from the kelim, yishtor like your gufam l'nishmos, they remain like a gvadi b'taraso. This is referring to the kelim of the spheres. So even though in the spheres there is oil hasphira, el hachesed, and just like in the human being our moshel, there is the compassion, there is the sechel, the midah. The real thing that maintains this kelim, this act, is not the oil hasechel and the oil midah. The sechel is nimshach in the kelim. But the real thing that maintains it is the reality of the human being himself. And if out is talik menayu, if you take that away, then yishtonik yuful remains like a body without a soul.
The ant is going on with nimshach in the
The
kelim. What's
etzem,
going
yeah,
on?
no, the ant means the
chayus
etzem.
itself.
Ant, you.
Chayus itself.
Huh?
The ant is going on the chayus of the kelim itself.
No,
or it's
no,
going on
the chayus of the kelim itself.
itself.
The etzem. Harei, thus we see, Gam sheyesh bohem b'chinas hachayus shemitzad atzmo. Although it is true that there is indicated the chayus b'chinas hachayus shemitzad atzmo, the chayus aspect shemitzad atzmo of their own chayus, mean chayus pertains to the keli itself, to the fact that there is a keli. Not the oil, the message of the kelim, but the fact that there is a kelim. Which is the aspect of the koiches. This is the chayes. The koiches that come from the reshimu. Yet still, they remain like a body without a soul. A body without a soul means in a state of helem ha'oir, the complete absence of oir, v'hagil. It doesn't say anything. As is explained elsewhere. V'hainu, and that is, lefi, it is due to the fact that which is drawn into the kelim from the reshimu, that hamshocha is not in the manner of dveikus b'mkeiram, of being connected to their source. The Haina Bechinas Kiruf, which would be in Bechinas Kiruf in a close-up manner. Bechinas Gilui Oyer, that there should be an element of Gilui Oyer. I will discuss in a moment. Kihim Bechinas Helam. What Nimshach is Bechinas Helam, in a Helam manner. Coming back to our illustration from the human being. The act of chesed, the act of kindness, the actual act, is very much a human act. It makes sense that human beings should do this. Nonetheless, the actual action itself is an action that is done not because my human quality compels me to do this. How does it happen by human being? This is the right thing to do. The bottom line, all action is an element of Kabbalah say. This is the right thing to do. Which means it is distant from the atzmu. It's not, there is no Gilui Oyer. It's simply a statement of correctness, which is distant from it's not reflective. It does not bring out the chayus of the atzmu. Although there is this chayus that come to it is not b'chinas kiruf to atzmu. Does not draw the atzmu with it. As we said, that as a matter of fact, the action itself could be done robotically. And in fact, in practical truth, ultimately, all action depends on the principle that a person has. Whether I want to or I don't want to, I will act correctly.
Again, all action depends on the override.
This is the way it should be.
Whether I want to, I don't want to.
Whether I'm up to it, yeah.
Sounds like superseding Ratzon.
Well, whether I want to, whether I have the rotzen on the practical level, whether I feel the rotzen. Not, you understand the allusion? Yeah. It has to be finished. That is the real force behind the action. Every action.
Saying that remains hidden, but that remains hidden, that remains concealed.
The atzmu means, yeah, the hamshocha from it is a hidden hamshocha. There is no chayus in it. It's an act that's forced upon the hand.
Why this element of force? Before we had that the keli is a willing participant, recipient of the water, of the movement. Why now forced?
The keli is a very participant, like you lie in bed and you want to get up, and it's the right thing, but you don't get up. What gets you up? when you supersede all the justifications, all the others. If you start thinking, that's what many people do. This is what am I going to gain out of it? I have to convince myself that it's worth it. Never going to happen.
Okay,
this is what the psychologist say. Think of this thing. It's ridiculous. You don't understand the whole principle of this. This is not how it happens.
Right. That makes the question stronger. What from where comes this resistance? Before we had that the vessel wants to contain the light.
There is no resistance. There is no force to do that. Why should the getting out from this place to this place is a completely different element of I feel this, I feel this. This cup should be here. Will it get itself here? No way. You'll be there only if an outside force will bring it there. Because right now it's here and it has no connection to this place. Okay, you have food for thought. Tomorrow you'll attack it. Okay, this is it for this morning.
Say